The story begins with Elara trapped in a corner, surrounded by a group of menacing boys. Despite her terror, her mother, Seraphina, coldly dismisses her. Plight with a bitter, serves you right. Her stepfather, Callan, echoes this sentiment, downplaying the incident as a harmless prank. Their indifference stems from the fact that the ringleader of the bullies is Elara's stepbrother, Zephyr. Forced by the circumstances, Elara endures the humiliation, but a burning desire for retribution simmers within her. Months later, she meticulously plots her revenge, delivering a harsh lesson to the three who wronged her. Elara's biological father, Rhys, was an orphan and disabled, a childhood case of polio leaving one leg withered and short. In their rural community, finding a wife for someone like him was considered a miracle. Yet, he married Seraphina, the renowned beauty of the county hospital. Their union, however, was born from a tragic incident in 1997. Seraphina, walking home after a night shift, was assaulted by a group of thugs. The incident shattered her reputation, branding her as an outcast. When Rhys, introduced by a matchmaker, offered marriage, Seraphina accepted without hesitation. Despite his disability, Rhys was a hardworking and honest man. He mastered bicycle repair, then motorcycles, eventually opening his own shop. Elara's childhood was comfortable, marred only by Seraphina's persistent coldness and cruel words, debt collector, bastard, hurled at her constantly. Whenever Rhys overheard these insults, he would shield Elara, fiercely defending her against Seraphina's vitriol. His unwavering protection eventually silenced Seraphina's verbal abuse, but her underlying resentment remained palpable. Elara discovered the truth about her parentage at 18. Seraphina became involved with a wealthy businessman, a clandestine affair that became increasingly blatant, the whispers of their neighbors reaching Elara's ears. Rhys, however, remained oblivious, burying his head in the sand until Seraphina threw a paternity test in his face. The report revealed that Elara was the businessman's daughter, one of the thugs who had assaulted Seraphina years ago. Following the revelation, Seraphina dragged Elara away, demanding a divorce from Rhys. The truth, unearthed so brutally, left Elara reeling. She had always been close to Rhys, and now, desperate for reassurance, she ran to him, seeking the same comfort he had always offered. But Rhys, his eyes filled with a chilling coldness, met her plea with a barrage of objects thrown in her direction, followed by a torrent of venomous words. "Get out, you worthless thing. You've defiled my home." The divorce was swift. The next day, a stranger in a leather coat arrived to pick up Seraphina and Elara. As they drove away, Seraphina callously told Rhys to discard their belongings, offering no financial support and demanding no contact. Rhys, standing on the curb, managed a single plea: be good to Elara. Seraphina dismissed him with a contemptuous, none of your business. Elara, bewildered, tried to get out of the car, desperate to understand Rhys's last words. But Seraphina slapped her, silencing her with a harsh, "He's not your father. Callan is your father. That coward outside doesn't want you. Why are you so desperate to claim him?" Elara arrived at Callan's opulent mansion, a world away from her previous life. Zephyr, Callan's son, greeted their arrival with indifference, retreating to his room and slamming the door. That night, Elara's worst fears materialized. Zephyr crept into her room, pinning her down and taunting her with the knowledge of her mother's past and her own illegitimacy. Elara's screams brought Callan and Seraphina, but Zephyr brushed it off as a joke. Callan offered a perfunctory apology, while Seraphina, instead of comfort, delivered a chilling warning against causing trouble. That night, Elara lay awake, consumed by a desperate longing for Rhys, yet paralyzed by the fear of his rejection. The next day, Callan enrolled Elara in Zephyr's high school, deliberately placing her a grade lower. Despite Elara's protests, they insisted, their true motive revealed in a whispered conversation overheard by Elara, to exploit her academic excellence as a free tutor for Zephyr. Elara's defiance was met with a public slap from Seraphina. Her new school life became a nightmare of bullying orchestrated by Zephyr. Notes filled with insults, vandalized desks, whispered taunts, and physical harassment became her daily routine. Her pleas to teachers fell on deaf ears, investigations hampered by conveniently disabled security cameras. The torment culminated in a late-night confrontation. Zephyr and his gang cornered Elara in the classroom, their taunts escalating into physical aggression. Only the intervention of a teacher saved her from a potentially horrific assault. In the aftermath, Zephyr was identified as the instigator. But Callan, minimizing the near assault as a sibling squabble, persuaded the principal to let the matter slide. Outside the principal's office, Seraphina unleashed her fury on Elara, blaming her for the incident. In her desperation, Elara lashed out, revealing the painful truth of her mother's past and present choices. Her words earned her a slap from Callan, his facade of geniality shattered. Zephyr, witnessing the scene, mocked Elara mercilessly, taunting her about her mother. Despite the severity of the incident, Zephyr received only a minor disciplinary action, a 10-day suspension. Elara, too, was sent home for the same period, ostensibly to quell the unrest. On the drive home, Callan placated Zephyr with promises of a new phone and a rescinded punishment, while Zephyr demanded the removal of Elara and Seraphina from their home. Upon arrival, Seraphina subjected Elara to a brutal beating, her subservience to Zephyr absolute. The next 10 days revealed the extent of Seraphina's transformation. The once proud woman became Zephyr's meek servant, enduring his every whim and command. Elara, forced to perform menial tasks, became the target of Zephyr's relentless cruelty. He taunted her about eating pizza laced with his saliva and snot. Elara retaliated, revealing she had added feces to his dinner, triggering his fury. This time, however, Callan intervened, offering Elara a rare moment of sympathy. Elara, playing the victim, accepted his empty promises of reprimanding Zephyr. Seraphina, observing the interaction, regarded Elara with a newfound complexity. Alone in her room, Elara scoffed at Callan's pretense of fatherly concern. He was a pale imitation of Rhys, her true father, who had always offered genuine comfort and protection. As night fell, Elara yearned for the familiarity of her old home. The rough sofa, the lemon-scented sheets, and the rocking chair Rhys had painstakingly crafted for her. She longed to see him, yet the memory of his harsh words held her back, the fear of his rejection outweighing her desire for reconciliation. The next day, Zephyr returned, his behavior unnerving. He watched Elara constantly, insisting she eat before him. Elara, assuming he suspected further tampering with his food, was caught off guard by his true intentions. After lunch, Elara felt a wave of dizziness overcome her. She collapsed after washing dishes, catching a glimpse of Zephyr's distinctive, expensive sneakers before losing consciousness. She awoke tied to her bed, a gag in her mouth, her body aching, and a searing pain in her abdomen. Carved into her skin were 2 bloody words, whore. The realization of Zephyr's drugging and violation filled her with terror and rage. Her screams brought Seraphina, whose initial anger morphed into something else entirely. Upon seeing Elara's condition, locking the door, Seraphina threw a blanket over Elara and uttered chilling words, "You cannot tell anyone about this." Elara stared at her mother, the words echoing in her ears, shattering the image of motherhood she had always clung to. She had hoped, prayed, that even now, her mother. A knock interrupted the tense silence. "What's going on?" Callan's voice drifted in. "Nothing," Seraphina responded quickly. Elara just got spooked by a cockroach. She turned back, her face impassive as she untied Elara, muttering a low, "Don't cause any more trouble." Elara's heart felt like it was being ripped apart. Despair washed over her. The moment she was free, she scrambled into her clothes and fled, ignoring any sense of propriety. At the door, she collided with a bewildered Callan. "Zephyr is a monster," she screamed, her voice raw. "He drugged me and carved words into my skin. Your precious son. You're all monsters." Seraphina roared, lunging towards Elara, but she was already running. As she escaped the house, Elara heard Seraphina's chilling words, "Callan, I'm sorry. I should have stopped her. I'll go after her. She can't be allowed to spread this around. It would ruin Zephyr." Elara hesitated, then ran faster, driven by a desperate need to escape. After a day of walking, she finally reached the familiar comfort of her old home. Unlocking the door, she was met by Rhys, a wrench clutched in his hand. The sight of him unleashed a torrent of suppressed emotions. She rushed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Rhys's frail body trembled. He pushed her away, his voice harsh, "Who let you back in?" Get out. He shoved her to the ground, but she clung to his leg, refusing to let go. Dad, I have nowhere else to go. Don't send me away. They're monsters. I walked for a whole day to get back here. You're all I have left. Rhys stumbled, his face softening as he helped her up. What happened? Didn't your mother say that man wanted you back? Was he not good to you? Through her tears, Elara recounted the horrors she had endured. Rhys listened, his face etched with pain, aging visibly with each word. When she described her injuries, he reached out, then hesitated, withdrawing his hand before it touched her. Instead, he fetched a jacket from her room and draped it over her shoulders. Come on, he said, his voice thick with emotion. I'll take you to the hospital. Rhys spent the night tending to her wounds, making her food, staying by her side until she finally fell asleep just before dawn. Lying in her own bed, she saw Rhys sitting in the living room, watching over her. A sense of peace, mingled with exhaustion, lulled her to sleep. She never imagined it would be the last time she saw him alive. Elara awoke at noon, a sense of relief washing over her. She was home, but the house was eerily silent. Rhys's usual breakfast sat untouched on the coffee table. She called his name, then his phone, but there was no answer. Assuming he was at his repair shop, she ate the breakfast he had prepared, tidied up, and started studying. A knock at the door in the late afternoon made her heart leap. She rushed to open it, expecting to see Rhys. Instead, she was greeted by 2 police officers. At the station, Elara learned the devastating truth. Rhys had gone to Callan's house that morning, demanding justice, the security footage showing him wielding a wrench, smashing objects in a rage. Callan, Zephyr, and Seraphina emerged, cowering before him. Rhys, his face contorted with fury, lunged at Zephyr, then suddenly collapsed. What happened to him? Elara cried, hitting the screen. He had a seizure, Callan stated flatly. Elara refused to believe it. You're lying. Zephyr must have poisoned him. He's done it before. The next day, a doctor confirmed that Rhys had been suffering from terminal brain cancer, with only months to live. The cruel words, the rejection, the desperate attempt to push her away, it all became agonizingly clear. Rhys had known he was dying and, fearing for her future, had made the heartbreaking decision to force her into Callan's care. He had sacrificed his last months, confronting Zephyr, and died in the process. Grief and rage consumed Elara. You killed him, she screamed at Callan, Seraphina, and Zephyr. You murdered him. But the official report ruled it an accidental death, absolving Callan and his family of any responsibility. Callan, with chilling composure, told Elara, I know you're struggling to accept me as your father, but it's the truth. Your self-harm and attempts to drive a wedge between us and Rhys ultimately led to his death. Do you want to cause your brother's death too? Seraphina dragged her away, silencing her protests. Elara was back in the house she so desperately wanted to escape. Callan, deeming the house tainted by death, moved the family to a new residence. Elara, now considered a harbinger of bad luck, was confined to a storage room. Before locking her in, they hurled accusations at her, blaming her for Rhys's death. Alone in the darkness, Elara felt like she was dying inside. The only person who had ever truly loved her was gone. Despair gnawed at her, the thought of revenge a distant flicker against the overwhelming darkness. But after a day of starvation, the primal instinct for survival kicked in. She pounded on the door, begging to be released. Zephyr opened the door, tossing her a loaf of bread and a bottle of water. They're out, he said. I brought you something to eat. Don't die in here. It's bad enough as it is. Elara glared at him, hatred burning in her eyes. So, is the cripple's death going to take you down with him? Zephyr taunted. Elara met his gaze. What do you want? I didn't open the bread, Zephyr said, after a hesitant pause. I didn't put anything in it. The water's new too. He shifted uncomfortably. I heard you won an award in the provincial math competition. Is that true? Yes. Never would have thought that bitch your mother could produce something so smart. Zephyr sneered. Then, seeing Elara's unwavering stare, he sobered. Did you get a signed YXX card with that award? Do you still have it? Elara knew how popular the celebrity YXX was with their peers. The irony was bitter. Rhys's life had been extinguished, and Zephyr cared only about a worthless piece of paper. I brought you food, Zephyr whined. Can I have the card? Yes, Elara said, testing the waters. If you let me out. She knew she would never touch anything he offered her again. No way. You'll go after us. I won't. You've always been the one starting things. I never targeted you. Even the feces in your food was just retaliation. I was in the kitchen the whole time. I had no opportunity to do anything else. But I did those things to you. You must hate me. I went to the hospital. They examined me. I wasn't assaulted. You just carved words into my skin. Superficial wounds heal quickly. And I know you were just lashing out at Seraphina. We don't have to be enemies. We want the same thing. I just want to leave, to take care of my father's funeral. She paused, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I can even help you get rid of Seraphina. That bitch is your mother. Zephyr scoffed. After what she did to me, you think I owe her anything? She is a bitch, Zephyr conceded. All right, deal. He stepped aside, allowing Elara to leave the room. A cold smile played on Elara's lips as she walked out. That evening, Callan and Seraphina were surprised to find dinner prepared. That woman's cooking is atrocious, Zephyr complained. You said you'd hire a housekeeper, but still nothing. Am I supposed to live on bread and water? He added casually, don't worry, I watched her make it. They sat down to eat, waiting for Elara to start before they touched their food. Elara, Callan began, his voice conciliatory, Reese's death is a tragedy. We're family now. Let's put all this behind us. We only locked you up because you were so distraught. We were worried you'd do something rash. Tell me what you want, and I'll try to make it happen. Zephyr scowled, slamming down his chopsticks and storming off. Callan glanced after him, then turned back to Elara. Elara chewed her food slowly, then spoke. I won't cause any more trouble. That's my girl, Callan said, relieved. You and Zephyr should go back to school. They've been calling about you. Elara nodded. Seraphina watched her with suspicion. After dinner, Zephyr stormed into Elara's room, pinning her to the bed. You're playing us, aren't you? Buttering me up while you plot with that bitch. Elara met his gaze calmly. If I hadn't said those things at dinner, your father would have locked me up again. I had to get out of that room. I'll prove it to you. Zephyr hesitated, his grip loosening slightly. I'll be watching you, he snarled, releasing her. For the next few days, they scrutinized her every move. But Elara remained compliant, a model of subdued obedience. Then, Callan returned with 2 new phones, one for each of them. Zephyr snatched both, examining them with a critical eye. Why buy her a new one? Just give her my old iPhone 6. He tossed the iPhone 6 to Elara dismissively, then started playing with his new phone. Zephyr, Callan scolded, then turned to Elara. Don't listen to him. I got you the 6 so you could learn how to use a phone. I'll get you the same one as Zephyr later. You didn't have to buy me one at all, Elara said meekly. I don't need a phone at school. Callan seemed pleased by her humility. All the students have phones these days. You don't want to be left out. He pressed the phone into her hand. Take it. Elara accepted it, thanking him politely. Seraphina glared at her, her eyes burning with resentment. Callan drove them back to school. Dad told me to keep an eye on you, Zephyr said as they got out of the car. I know, Elara replied flatly. So don't try anything stupid. Your wounds have healed. You have no proof. And that phone's useless without a SIM card. What a hick. Elara murmured in agreement. Seraphina had checked her wounds the previous night, ensuring all evidence had vanished before releasing her. Zephyr, seemingly bored with her compliance, turned to leave. Elara called out to him. Zephyr, wait. What? Could you ask your friends to stop bullying me? I'll do your homework. Anything you want. I just want to finish school peacefully and take my father home. Zephyr's sneer faltered at her last words. He muttered, whatever, and walked away. Back in class, Zephyr briefly explained the situation to his classmates, then left the room. A few minutes later, a pretty girl with a ponytail approached Elara, offering a friendly smile. Elara, thanks for the signed card, but I can't accept such a valuable gift. She placed the card on Elara's desk, then pointed to a seat. I'm Shin Xine, by the way. I sit over there. Why'd you give it back? Zephyr appeared behind Shin Xine, scowling. She ignored him, continuing to address Elara. I heard about you last year. Our math teacher used your provincial win to motivate us for ages. When you first arrived, I wondered if you were the young Elara, but I thought it was too much of a coincidence. I can't believe you're my idol. She grabbed Elara's hand, her eyes shining with admiration. Elara was taken aback. The surrounding students buzzed with excitement. No way, she's that good? Wow, Shin Xiane, the top student, has an idol? Shin Xiane winked at Elara just as the bell rang. The rest of the day was a flurry of friendly overtures, but no apologies. It was as though her previous torment had been erased, this day marking a fresh start. After evening study, Shin Xiane asked Elara for help with a difficult math problem. As they walked back to the dormitory, Shin Xiane asked, "Is Zephyr really your brother? You two are so different. Are you a blended family?" Elara nodded. Lowering her voice, she asked, "Shin Xiane, when those boys almost, was it you who told the teacher?" Shin Xiane paled, her lips pressed together. "Don't worry," Elara reassured her. "I waited until we were alone. I don't want to put you in a difficult position. I won't tell anyone." Elara knew that Shin Xiane feared Zephyr's retaliation. "Elara, I'm sorry. I should have helped you sooner. I didn't think they would go that far." "No, your timing was perfect. I'm grateful. Please, take the card as a gift." Elara offered the card again, sincerely. "But it's YXX's autograph. I can't accept this. I don't care about him. If you like it, keep it." Shin Xiane's face lit up. "Really? Thank you." Her simple joy was infectious. Elara couldn't help but smile. It was refreshing to see such genuine happiness. For the next 2 weeks, life settled into a semblance of normalcy. Zephyr left her alone, and it almost felt as if the past few months had been a bad dream. Then, on the weekend, when Callan arrived to pick them up, Zephyr slammed the car door shut, refusing to ride with Elara. Callan, after a moment of hesitation, handed Elara some money, telling her to take the bus. Elara took the money, said goodbye, and asked for directions, not to Callan's house, but to the police station. That night, Elara went to the police station and waited until morning to collect Reese's ashes. She took them home, placing the urn on their dining table. She cooked his favorite meal, tears streaming down her face as she ate alone, the silence amplifying her grief. In the afternoon, Callan appeared at the door, feigning concern. "Elara, we were so worried. Why didn't you tell us you were coming?" "Here? Come home." Elara silently followed him, aware that he had been watching her from his car all night. Their concern was a charade. Back at Callan's house, Seraphina lunged at her as usual, but this time Elara hid behind Callan. He seemed surprised, then pleased by her apparent trust. He played the role of the protective father, scolding Seraphina for her harshness. After dinner, Callan sent Seraphina to clean up and told Elara to rest. But Elara went to Zephyr's room, ostensibly to help him study. "Thank you," she said. "That's it? You came all the way here to thank me?" Zephyr smirked. "No, I'm here to do your homework. I heard you telling your friends about your gaming plans. Go have fun. I'll take care of this." She offered him her phone. "If yours is low on battery, you can use mine. I downloaded that game you like, but I'm not sure if I did it right." Zephyr sat up abruptly, kicking over a trash can. "You think you can manipulate me? You told me you just wanted to take your father home. Now you're back, sucking up to me and my dad. Just like that bitch your mother. You're after our money." "I'm back because Seraphina is still here," Elara stated calmly. "My father loved her. I'm taking her back with me. And as for sucking up to your father, maybe he's the one trying to appease me. He's afraid of what I might do. But whether he's being kind or I'm manipulating him, we both know the truth. Zephyr, my name is Yang. It will always be Yang. Never Zhao." Zephyr scrutinized her for a long moment, then grunted, "Give me the phone. Get to work." Elara left Zephyr's room after midnight. Seraphina immediately entered her room. "What are you playing at?" she hissed, poking Elara's head. "I didn't sleep last night. I'm tired. Can I please sleep?" Elara yawned. "Tired? I washed the dishes. I mopped the floor. What are you tired from?" Seraphina's face twisted in fury. "Give me the phone Callan bought you. That bastard. He didn't even buy me one. Zephyr's using it." "He didn't give it back," Elara lied. Seraphina's voice rose to a shriek. "You gave it to him. You're in cahoots with that little shit. You've been acting strange ever since he let you out. You're trying to win Callan over. You and Zephyr are teaming up to get rid of me. Are you insane? Working with that little bastard against your own mother." A crash interrupted her tirade. Zephyr kicked open the door. "Who are you calling a bastard?" He grabbed a book from Elara's desk and hurled it at Seraphina. Elara strategically avoided the crossfire, watching as Seraphina, desperate to maintain her composure in front of Callan, endured Zephyr's relentless attack. He chased her around the room, pelting her with books, leaving her with a head full of bumps. Callan, roused by the commotion, intervened, but the damage was done. No one in the Zhao household slept well that night. The following Monday, their math teacher praised Zephyr for his significant improvement, attributing it to his studious older sister. Zephyr, completely bewildered, pulled Elara aside after class. "What did you do to my homework?" he demanded. "I copied your handwriting and problem-solving methods," Elara admitted. "But I improved the accuracy a bit." "You can copy problem-solving methods?" "Yes." Zephyr stared at her, then blurted out, "You're even freakier than Shin Xine. You don't like it?" "I can tutor you properly if you want to learn," Elara offered, feigning sincerity. Zephyr opened and closed his mouth, speechless. For the next 2 weeks, Zephyr intermittently threw his homework at Elara or copied hers, their interactions increasing. He seemed to be observing her. That weekend, while Elara worked on his assignments, Zephyr played video games, occasionally making conversation. "Elara, are you hitting on me with all this niceness?" he asked, a smirk playing on his lips. "Just so you know, I only have eyes for Shin Xine. I wouldn't look twice at a hick like you." "Okay. You're so compliant. Are you actually starting to think you're my sister?" "Aren't we?" Yeah, I guess we are," Zephyr mumbled, flustered. As Elara left Zephyr's room, Seraphina intercepted her. "Callan gave you 1,000 for living expenses. Give me 500, she demanded. Elara had long known about Seraphina's gambling habit. She had never contributed to the household finances, constantly demanding money from Reese. Zephyr took it, Elara lied. "I don't have any money for next week. Maybe you could give me 500. She changed the subject, planting seeds of discord. "When are you and Callan getting married? You said it would be soon. Does he not want to marry you?" Seraphina exploded, swinging at Elara, who dodged the blow. Seraphina hit the wall, her forehead reddening. She grabbed a broom, but Elara blocked the attack with a book. "You dare fight back?" Seraphina shrieked. As their fight escalated, Elara fled the room. Just as Seraphina pursued her, Zephyr's door opened and a book flew out, hitting Seraphina. "Shut the hell up. Some of us are trying to sleep," he yelled. Seraphina, noticing Callan's arrival, quickly shifted blame. "Elara was being too loud. I was just telling her off." "I was yelling at you," Zephyr retorted. Humiliated but unable to defy him in front of Callan, Seraphina glared at Elara, then retreated to her room. 3 days later, on Christmas Eve, Zephyr broke his best friend, Wang Zhao's, arm. Wang Zhao retaliated by stabbing a pen into Zephyr's face. Elara learned later that the fight had erupted shortly after Wang Zhao had apologized to her for his part in the near assault, offering her a gift of apples. Zephyr had crushed the apples under his foot after Elara mentioned seeing a card from Wang Zhao on Shin Xianyi's desk. While that might have been the trigger, Elara's subtle manipulations had undoubtedly fueled the fire. Both boys were expelled. Zephyr blamed Elara, claiming the fight was over Wang Zhao's romantic interest in her, conveniently omitting Shin Xianyi's involvement. Elara was suspended for a week. She felt a pang of guilt for using Shin Xianyi, but Zephyr's lie had inadvertently protected her while eliminating 2 of her rivals. Upon returning home, Elara was met with a barrage of flying objects. "You whore!" Zephyr screamed, as Seraphina added her own insults, blaming Elara for Zephyr's expulsion. As Elara dodged the attacks, her mind drifted back to Reese. He had thrown objects at her too, but from a much closer distance, yet not one had hit her. Had his anger been a mask for his heartbreak at sending her away? "You're such a troublemaker," Seraphina yelled, moving to strike Elara. Suddenly, Zephyr intervened, yelling, "Elara, get in here." Elara wiped her tears and followed him into his room. He slammed the door and resumed his assault, this time unavoidable. "You know I was in the hospital for 3 days. Did you even die?" he raged, then suddenly clutched his face, crying out in pain. He sank onto his bed, kicking aside a broken figurine. 3 days. You didn't visit, didn't even call. You're unbelievable." Elara rubbed her bruised arms. "You never gave me your number. And I don't have a phone. What crap. Did you eat the phone my dad bought you?" "You just smashed it." Zephyr's face flushed. "Go get it. See if it still works." I'll get you a SIM card tomorrow, so you can keep tabs on Shin E, Elara stated flatly. Fine. I'll help you. Did I hurt you? Go ask your mom for some ointment, he mumbled, avoiding her gaze. She's not my mother. Silence. Zephyr, Elara began, you should control your temper. Your father will get tired of your outbursts. Then Seraphina will have him completely under her thumb, and you'll have nothing. You think she's subservient? She's much more cunning than you realize. The night you drugged me, she pretended to be on your side, telling me not to cause trouble. But then she twisted everything, making you look bad and gaining favor with your father. Zephyr, don't be so impulsive. Elara's words, disguised as advice, were carefully chosen to fan the flames of discord. Zephyr laughed. She could never drive a wedge between me and my dad. He just sees her as a free piece of ass. You don't know anything. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Elara, you and that bitch your mother are clueless. You're not even my father's daughter. The following Saturday, Elara found Seraphina vomiting in the bathroom. Are you pregnant? She asked, feigning surprise. You scare me half to death. Seraphina snapped, then handed Elara some money. Buy me a pregnancy test when you get groceries. And don't tell anyone. Elara took the money, the warmth of Seraphina's skin against her hand a stark reminder of their twisted relationship. This was the first time Seraphina had ever given her money, and it was because she might be carrying another child. As Elara left, she saw Seraphina gently caressing her stomach, an expression of maternal tenderness that Elara had never known. At the front door, Elara ran into Shin E and some classmates. Shin E had called the previous night, asking to hang out. Elara unlocked the door, ushering them inside. As they entered, they witnessed a horrific scene. Seraphina was on the balcony, and Zephyr, standing behind her, lifted her legs and pushed her over the edge. Shin E and the other girls screamed. Elara's grocery bag tumbled to the floor. She hadn't expected Zephyr, after a night of gaming, to overhear her conversation with Seraphina, let alone act on it so violently. Seraphina survived the fall, but she was paralyzed. With so many witnesses, Callan couldn't cover it up. Zephyr was charged with attempted murder and sentenced to 10 years. Elara attended the sentencing. Elara, you know, I shouldn't have gone easy on you, Zephyr muttered, glancing at Callan. Elara knew what he meant. He regretted showing her any mercy, but he didn't understand the depth of her pain, the scars he had carved, both physical and emotional. As Zephyr was led away, Callan called out, Don't worry, son. I'll appeal. I'll get you out. Elara smiled bitterly. With Seraphina paralyzed and resentful, how much would it cost Callan to buy her silence? It was a battle between them now, one she had no part in. She pitied Zephyr, a victim of Callan's negligent parenting. Someone had taught him a lesson, albeit a brutal one. Shortly after settling Seraphina's medical expenses, Callan was arrested. The ledger Elara had given to the police had finally led to his downfall. The worn, coverless book detailed years of illegal oil smuggling, explaining Callan's lavish lifestyle. The money he had amassed was enough to last several lifetimes. Elara had done more than collect Reese's ashes from the police station that day. She had also learned about the law. Illegal smuggling of state property carried a heavy penalty, including life imprisonment or even the death penalty. She had found the ledger in Callan's unlocked safe a few days after her release, along with a paternity test. Not the one Seraphina had produced, but a later one with a different stamp. No relation. Elara had known the truth before Zephyr told her, but she was too late to tell Reese. For her role in exposing Callan's crimes, Elara received a reward. She used the money to place Seraphina in a poorly rated nursing home with the worst caregivers. Seraphina, paralyzed but mentally sound, would live, but she would not live well. It was Elara's twisted form of justice. Elara didn't take the 2017 college entrance exam. She dropped out of school, retreating to Reese's small house, living in a haze of grief. Shin E visited once, expressing sympathy and regret at Elara's decision to abandon her studies. I'm sorry, Elara said, her voice thick with emotion. And thank you. Sorry for using her. Thank you for her kindness. But Elara knew she could never regain her innocence, her life forever tainted by the darkness she had endured. Then, in the summer of 2017, something happened that changed everything. A lawyer contacted her, delivering a video recorded by Reese before his death. Watching it, Elara wept uncontrollably. Reese, the man who had claimed she wasn't his daughter, had a substantial sum of money set aside, money he had chosen not to spend on himself. Elara, he said in the video, I know I can't be cured. This money is more useful to you. I didn't mean those cruel words. I can't take care of you anymore. At least in your new home, you'll have someone to look after you. We come from humble beginnings, but I won't let anyone look down on you. This was for your dowry, but I won't live to see that day. Take care of yourself, Elara. Be well. My condolences, the lawyer said gently, handing Elara a tissue. Elara wiped her tears, her voice choked with sobs. Seraphina always asked my father for money. But he always said he didn't have any, or he'd give her a little, telling her to be frugal, saying he had a daughter to raise. She called him worthless. But he was saving for me. He was planning for my future. Your father was a good man, the lawyer said softly. After settling Reese's affairs, Elara returned to school. In 2018, she scored exceptionally well on the college entrance exam, gaining admission to a prestigious university. She worked her way through college, leaving Reese's money untouched. As long as it remained, she felt like a part of him was still with her. Many pursued her romantically, but she chose the most unexpected suitor, a kind but unremarkable young man. Why me? He asked once. There were so many others. You remind me of my father, Elara replied honestly. He mistook her words, pulling her into a tender kiss. Before the new year, Elara visited Seraphina in the nursing home. She brought her an apple, Seraphina's favorite. I never understood why you wanted to marry Callan, Elara said, peeling the apple. Who else would I marry? Seraphina spat. A rape victim? Do you know what people said about me? Do you know what my life was like with that worthless Reese? Her logic baffled Elara. To marry her attacker as a form of escape? If you could forgive Callan, why couldn't you be kind to me? Elara asked, a bitter smile on her lips. You're a rapist's daughter. You ruined my life. You brought me nothing but shame. Why would I be kind to you? Do you know how exceptional I was? Do you think that Reese deserved me? You think I wanted you? I tried to get rid of you. It was that coward Reese who begged me to keep you. You're his daughter, not mine. Seraphina's voice was hoarse with rage. So you thought marrying Callan would be your escape? Anything was better than that worthless Reese. There's something you should know. Callan saw through you from the beginning. He took you and me in because you offered him a free tutor and other services. You gave him a future for his son, and you were eager to please. He took advantage of you. He never intended to marry you. Why would he spend money on you? And you, pretending to be selfless to impress him. You were both playing each other. Seraphina's face contorted with rage. Shut up. Get out. Elara ignored her, finishing the apple. Did you mourn him, Seraphina? Do you regret anything you did to him? None of your business. Elara finally gave up. She tossed the apple in the trash. You don't deserve it. As she left, Elara pondered Seraphina's cruelty, her own lingering guilt, and Seraphina's complete lack of remorse. Why would a mother be like this? The wind was cold. Elara huddled in her coat, calling her boyfriend. Can I spend New Year's with you? I knew you'd be alone. I'm already in town. Send me your address. I'm coming to get you. Tears streamed down Elara's face as she smiled. Dad, I promise I'll be okay. For you, I will be okay.